to a man rushing past with a sopping wet dachshund on a leash. "We're looking for Baron von Gloomstone's castle." The man almost trod on his dachshund in horror. He swallowed, looked around, leaned closer to Hetty Hyssop, and whispered, "What do you want with that place?" "Oh, I've got some business there," Hetty Hyssop answered. "Jeepers creepers, have you got a death wish?" hissed the man. "Turn around and drive straight back home while you still have all your marbles intact." "Thanks very much for your advice," said Hetty Hyssop, "but you needn't worry about my marbles. I'd just like to know the way, so can you help me?" The man shrugged his shoulders and pointed down the road. "First right, second left, then straight on until—" He stared past Hetty Hyssop, his mouth open. "Straight on until—" asked Hetty Hyssop. "Until where?" "There," breathed the man, pointing at the white fingers gently lifting Hetty's hat up into the air. His dachshund threw back its head and howled. "That? Oh, that's nothing." Hetty Hyssop gave Hugo's wobbly fingers an irritated slap. "Straight on until where, then?" But the man couldn't utter another single sound. He stood there with his mouth open whilst his dog wound its leash around his legs. "Until where?" breathed Hugo, blowing his moldy breath into the poor man's face. "Come on, spit it out, or I'll tickle you. Got it?" "Straight ahead until you get to the bus stop. Then take the track across the field," the dachshund owner burst out. "Thanks," said Hetty Hyssop. Then she hastily wound up the window and put her foot down on the gas pedal. The poor man was left standing in the rain, staring after them, completely befuddled. "Ha ha 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 ha!" howled Hugo, waving through the back window. "Ha ha ha ha! Just look at him!" "Hey, have you gone nuts?" Tom snapped. "Can't you give these stupid, ghostly jokes a rest for once?" "Fog," said Hetty Hyssop. She rounded the next corner, tires squealing. "That ASG has a head full of fog. First right, second left. Tom, can you see the bus stop anywhere?" "Ungrateful," grumbled Hugo. "You're so ungrateful." "Oh, be quiet. You're getting on my nerves," said Tom. "I just hope you don't act like that once we're in the castle." "There!" He wiped the misted-up window with his sleeve. "The bus stop's over there. Oh, and here's the trail where that broken signpost is." Hetty Hyssop's car bumped its way down the muddy trail, with Hugo wobbling around on the back seat like a bright green bowl of jelly. "I feel sick," he moaned. "I feel so sick." "Serves you right," said Tom, and caught his breath. "Oh, my goodness," he murmured. Gloomsburg Castle lay before them. It squatted there, large and gray, surrounded by a black moat that reflected the ivy-covered walls. "Oh, my goodness," Tom said again. Hetty Hyssop brought her car to a lurching halt in front of the drawbridge. The rain dripped down from the gargoyles, baring their teeth above the castle door. "I like it," breathed Hugo. "I'm not joking. I think it really is very nice." "Nice isn't exactly the word I'd use." Tom fished out his backpack from the back seat, pulled his hood over his head, and opened the car door. Rain lashed him in the face, and the wind tore at his jacket. Blinking, Tom threw his head back and looked up at the castle's towers. Their tips were fortified with iron, and they thrust their way into the sky like lances. "Impressive, isn't it?" Hetty Hyssop fetched their bags of equipment out of the trunk and shoved Tom's computer into his hands. "Come on," she said, and set off decisively for the drawbridge. "We'll fetch the rest of our stuff later." Tom nodded and looked around for Hugo. But the only trace of the ASG was some shimmering slime on Tom's backpack. "Hey, Hugo," Tom shouted, banging on the backpack. "Come out at once. Go sliming around somewhere else. Got it?" "You're a meanie," breathed Hugo, wobbling into broad daylight. "It's too light, much too light. And what about this dreadful wind? It will blow me to pieces." Tom ignored him. The drawbridge was wet from the rain, and he almost slipped on the well-worn planks as he made a grab for the guardrails before following Hetty Hyssop.